Hello from Peak Season Cuisine, this is Chef Ioana, and today we're making vegan white bread. Here we have 1 packet of yeast, active dry yeast, or it could be 2.5 teaspoons of active dry yeast. So right here in my mixer, I have put the yeast already in here. I'm going to add the 2/3 cups of sugar, the 2 cups of warm water that has to be at a temperature of 110 to 115 degrees. This is to make the yeast wake up. If it's too cold, it's not going to wake up, and if it's too hot, it's going to kill it. And the 1/4 cup of coconut oil. I prefer using coconut oil, but you could use a shortening, or in this case it's a vegan, so a vegetable shortening. And 1 cup of flour. And this is just for a starter. And you're going to mix well. Now we're going to let it sit for about 20 to 30 minutes until it gets nice and foamy. Okay, so now that it's been sitting for about 35 minutes, as you can see that the yeast has now come up and it's foamy and frothy, and that's what you want to look for. So at this point you can put in the dough hook. And we're simply going to add the flour a little at a time. And I'm going to use a spatula to continuously push down all the flour. You need to make sure that it's well incorporated, otherwise you're going to have 2 separated doughs at the end, and you don't want that. So starting at a number 1, low speed. And I'm putting in about 1/2 cup at a time. And it's still a little sticky, as you can see. So we're going to add more flour, and we're going to knead it ourselves at this point. So make sure that it's well floured on the surface that you're going to be kneading on. And now make sure your hands are also well floured, because this is going to be sticky. And we're going to dump the dough out. Readjust this a little bit. There we go. Alright, knead away. Okay, push that aside real fast. You take a regular bowl and you're going to oil it well. You are then going to put your dough right in this bowl. And then wrap it in a blanket or a tablecloth of some sort, something that's going to hold a lot of heat, because you're going to need this to stay warm. And you're going to keep this in here for 1 hour. Now that the dough has been sitting for an hour, we're going to take it out of its cloth. And as you see that it rose, let's focus that out just a little bit. There we go. So now we're going to simply take it out of the bowl. Okay, and you're going to punch it down. And fold it over. Once, twice, three times the charm. Okay. Now you're going to try to cut as even as possible. You want two. You're making 2 loaves. Let's make sure. This side looks just a tad bit bigger. So about this way. Okay. So now it's simply roll out. Just one quick roll, doesn't have to be perfect, just to get it out just a little bit. And you're going to take a pan, baking pan, for bread, and you're simply going to place it right in there and push it down. Make sure that it gets all the way around. Same thing to the other one. Well-oiled pan. Plop it right in there. Okay. And so that you can see that we've punched it down, they're in the baking pans, and now what you're going to do is take the tablecloth, blanket, anything that can hold warmth to it, and pull it right back over. And we're just going to leave it here for an additional 30 minutes so that it can rise up, and then we're putting it into the oven at 350 degrees for about 35 to 40 minutes. Okay, so now it's been a half hour and they've risen again. So now the same coconut oil that I put in here, or if you put vegetable oil, vegetable shortening, I melted it up, and now we're just going to simply brush it. And that's it. Now we're going to bake them into the oven at 350 degrees for 30 minutes to 45 minutes, depending on how long it takes. It should be golden brown, and when you flick it, you should hear a nice little tap. It's almost not hollow, but a good sound to it. I'll show you when it gets to that point. So these are the golden brown breads right here. They're ready and golden brown, as you see, and you just have to hear this sound right here. That means it's ready. If you want some other way to know for sure, is you stick a thermometer into the bread and it should reach at 200 degrees and then it's completely finished. Thank you for joining us at Peak Season Cuisine, and that was vegan white bread. Bye!